Hi, welcome to today's Iron Chef competition where we'll be making mac and cheese. Let's introduce the contestants, Dan and Tony. Give them a round of applause. So Tony, what are your ingredients today for your special mac and cheese?
Well, today we'll be using regular elbow macaroni, and I'll be using two kinds of cheeses. You have here the yellow kind, which is a New Zealand cheddar cheese, which will add a nice creaminess and mellowness to the macaroni. And on the other side, the white one, we have pecorino romano, which will add a nice salty and a bite to the macaroni cheese. And together, they'll make a nice contrast to make this superb macaroni and cheese.
Ooh. So Dan, what are your ingredients to top Tony's?
So here we have 4 cheeses. What we have is regular mild cheddar. This is Gruyere. Gruyere is sort of a little bit harshness, so we kept the percentages lower because we still wanted the essence of a cheddar. Because when we think of macaroni and cheese, we're thinking about the comfort food. We're thinking about the yellow, the creaminess. The last thing we have here is Parmesan. We have a little bit of freshly grated Parmesan, and to make it more like a traditional one, we have Velveeta. So this is your very processed cheese. Even though this is not a natural cheese, it gives it a sense of creaminess that none of the cheeses really can have. So after we combine that and make the macaroni and cheese, we're going to toast it with put panko crumbs on the top, which are Japanese breadcrumbs, unflavored. Then we're going to put a little bit of gorgonzola. So gorgonzola is a blue cheese and it's sort of pungent. So I don't know if this will work well with the audience if they like that blue cheese. We're going to broil it and then we'll be done.
So we have the ingredients now, so I guess we can start the competition. But before that, we'll talk about the history of mac and cheese. Okay, who knows when mac and cheese was developed or made? Some people think that it's American food, but actually, it came from China. Pasta from China, yeah, I know. Pasta from China was brought back by Marco Polo to Italy, and from there the Italians, they wanted to be creative, so they mixed it with some cheeses, and that's how we have mac and cheese. And immigrants came to America, brought the recipe with them along. It was a big hit. Thomas Jefferson served it in the White House to his people. And ever since then, people in America have loved mac and cheese. And one more interesting fact, the first mac and cheese in a box, was introduced in America in 1937. And that's when mac and cheese was a big hit. And from there on, we love mac and cheese today, and we're gonna cook. So let's start cooking.
Called a water test. So I'm going to verify that the pan is ready. And to do that, what you do is you get a drop of water, you put it in and you see how it sizzles, right? This pan here, the water is not really sizzling, so it's not ready. But this pan here, if you see it sort of sizzles away, it means it's ready. I want it to get a little warmer, so we're going to heat it up. So we're both going to do bechamel sauces. What bechamel sauce is basically a white sauce. It's a classic French sauce. Basically what it is, it's whole milk and it's flour. So if you think about milk, right, what's going to happen is we're going to thicken the milk with the flour. And we're going to get a smooth finish. And then both of us are going to put our cheeses in to combine it. That way, when you think about when you melt cheese and you put noodles, right, you get like sort of clunky cheese and noodles. It's not going to be consistent. With the bechamel sauce, you have a smooth consistency on it.
Okay. So first he's starting off with the butter.
We're going to make a roux, and for the roux, we make all the butter, and then we add the flour. The key here is to make sure, in a bechamel, the success of it is making sure that you don't taste the flour, because if you add flour to something, you want to fully cook it. So right here, I'm going to use 4 cups of milk, so that means I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour.
And now for the flour. And how are you going to stir in the flour?
So the careful thing here is, if you see it's sort of sizzling, it's a little too hot right now. You don't want to fry flour. because you fry flour, you think about donuts and such. So you want to make sure that when you put it in, the butter and the flour starts combining together. So we're going to start lowering this a little bit. Should be
Okay, so he's pouring in the flour now, and he's mixing it in. Is it like folding the flour kind of in a way, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like folding the flour in. So what's going on here is we are combining it, and the key thing here is when the flour hits the butter, you don't want it to crisp up really brown. And our goal here is we want to make a rich roux, so we want to get this sort of a golden brown color.
Now we are adding 4 cups of milk. As you see, the roux is finished. And when we add it, what we want to be sure to do is to make sure the flour is fully cooked. It was a little too hot here, so I need to reduce the temperature a little bit. So for about 5 to 10 minutes, what we're going to do is stir everything together. Make sure the flour is fully cooked and thickened in this roux we're making.
I'm going to add a cheddar. Right now, I'm sort of afraid of adding everything at once, so I'm going to go a little bit piecemeal. I'm going to be a little conservative on this. This is the Gruyere. It's a block of Gorgonzola. So I want to reserve a little bit of cheddar here. Also, what I'm going to do is add, this is a mystery ingredient, Velveeta. I have never actually used this before. So I'm going to be a little conservative in the portions. I'm going to do about.
Will the Velveeta make the cheese a little bit more creamier, add more texture and taste to the sauce, or?
You know, in terms of taste, I don't think it's going to impart much because it's processed. But because of like all the random crazy ingredients in it, I think it's going to add a nice creamy texture to it, though.
And as the cheese is melting, Dan is preparing the macaroni. And is this a special type of macaroni, or just regular elbow macaroni?
Regular elbow macaroni. This was purposely undercooked because what's going to happen is when you bake it, the starches are going to expand a little bit. So if you do it anything under al dente, we actually did slightly under al dente, then it's going to get sort of a mushy taste on that.
And it looks like Dan is about ready to pour the sauce over the macaroni.
The thing is, right now I don't know how much macaroni I have, so I don't want to overpower. I don't want to overpower the ratioing. So the key thing is always is you're making a mac and cheese. You have the luxury of tasting everything. So you should be tasting pretty much every phase to see, is it salty enough? Is it cheesy enough? Is the texture right? Because in the mac and cheese you can correct. But the problem is if it's too salty, then you're out of luck. You know, you can't do anything else about it.